Welcome to the show, everybody. I came across this article and I just had to touch on it. I see this way too often as a coach myself, as a professor who teaches people to be coaches, and as a parent of an athlete. I just see this way too much. It's something that maybe we need to talk about a little bit, um, and we'll get right into that. So as I went through this video by Fred Bowen in the Washington Post, he touches on a lot of big points about the state of youth sports today. Now, in several of the classes that I teach, I often talk about the fact that 70% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 14. Right. So, I mean, if you really break that down, if you gotta look at the research on that, though, and you really think about, okay, so is it the coaching or is it the fact that at the age of 14, most kids are going to high school and there's no longer, these A and B and C teams for middle school players going into high school, right? There's a freshman team, maybe a B team, freshman basketball team, right? So the availability of spots is dwindled by the time they get to high school. So that plays a part of it, but kids are choosing not to play anyways, right? So the kids are choosing not to play these sports when they get to high school, even though there's less sports, but it doesn't matter sometimes of not wanting to bother to even try out because they know that this athlete or that athlete's going to get playing time above them anyways, or maybe they won't even get a chance to make the team. Right? So there's that kind of that idea behind it where I'm not going to try so that I'm not embarrassed when I don't succeed, right? And the definition of success is kind of iffy too when you talk to a bunch of coaches, right? So my definition of success has never been about winning, but you're gonna get that one coach who's watching this video that says that's what losers say, right? So take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But that's typically my view. My view has always been about what I've researched. Well, I take that back. I've only done minimal research, right? I'm just a dissertation, a PhD student working on a dissertation, so I've done minimal research. But I've researched tons of research, and I have that background, and I see what the predecessors of mine have gone through and seen and studied, and focusing on the winning has never been the way. So you think back to when when Little League was created, right? You look at how Little League created, and let me take a quick look at this real quick so you can get a look yourself. So we go here to the Little League website, and they give a little bit of a background about it. And of course, they got to paint a little pretty picture of themselves about it. And then, I mean, I'm not saying there's any bad people behind the Little League, right? I mean, let's be honest, it's a money making thing, right? Sports. But back in 1938, Carl Stokes had the idea, right? And he created this idea based on the kids that he saw playing. Like, hey, let's give them something to do to keep them out of trouble, give them something to do during the summer. And it was just a program that just didn't have a name, like it says right here. No games were played. But at a certain point, let's see if it talks about it here, but at a certain point, it got bigger. More kids were involved, and that's what you want. You want more kids involved. You want to be an influence on a larger amount of kids. But what happened was it got too big for just Carl Stokes, right? So people started taking over. All of a sudden, there's a World Series, Little League World Series, and it got away from him. The inventor, the creator, the founder of Little League left Little League because of this. It started taking a turn away from the original idea, the original reason for the creation, right? Doing right by kids, teaching character traits, those types of things. And it went straight into let's try to win a Little League World Series. So when you look at it today and you see these select teams and these travel teams, and you have 8-year-olds, wearing, a fake World Series ring for some 6-team tournament they won. We could say that it's getting a little bit out of hand here. So we go back to this by Fred Bowen, this article by Fred Bowen in the Washington Post, and he does go and point out that there are some things, right? Coronavirus. I mean, COVID did play a part in the past couple of years, right, of where it's at now. But people are just wanting to get back out there, right? But what I've noticed in my experience in just going to games that my daughter plays in, that it's still a matter of winning. The games don't actually matter in the league that she plays in. It's literally just a practice fall ball team. There's no trophies, there's no rings, there's no nothing. You just play for the sake of playing to keep your game going, right? And I see kids that are like playing like the last couple of minutes of a 70-minute softball game. I see kids getting yelled at for making mistakes. It's something they're supposed to be practicing and working on. Right. So things are kind of getting out of hand a little bit. And you could say that it's just my area, but we know for a fact that it's not just my area. This is all of us, right? So we got to look a little bit more into this and figure out what we need to do in order to the ship, right? So, we're looking at this right now as a win for a situation where if you look at things like achievement goal theory, just achievement goals, motivational climate, self-determination theory, if you go and look at transformational leadership, if you look at servant leadership with Stephen Covey, if you look at, they call me coach, right? Coach Wooderson, all these things from great people, great minds lead to the same thing. And it leads back to achievement goals, really. The idea that the most improvement is made when the goal is improvement, when the goal is not winning. When the goal is about winning, there's a barrier. Because it's the mere act of winning. You can play horribly and win. And you can play great and lose, and we all know that. But we prefer to win and play horribly than to lose and play great. And for whatever reason, that's the preference of our world. And I know that not everybody teaches that, but let's figure out a way to right that ship. And I guess that's the point of my video right now, is how do we right that ship? Because I can put out this video, I can talk to the coaches that I work with, I can talk to students at the university that are going to be coaches, and I can try to mold them into more efficient coaches, right? I can't say better because they're probably going to be great coaches already. But how do we make this more efficient and get the most out of our kids without just being about winning? And that's something that we need to figure out together. Maybe that's something that you can answer in the comments below. But again, let's figure this out. Where do we go from here? All right, hopefully I can put out some more videos and talk about this topic and talk about a lot of youth and sports and general topics. The goal is to really be looking at what's happening in our society today with sports. And is it the right thing to do? How do we make it better? And where do we go from here? Thank you guys. And please like and subscribe.